I put it up, I don't know, a couple months ago. We're sitting at, 218,000 views today. I mean, it's on the Google Plus hot list. It's literally all over the entire world. I mean, I've got somebody that, did an illegal download, but it's in China now where YouTube isn't. And, it's huge in Russia. It's huge in China. It's huge in the United States. I get comments and messages every day from people from all over the world about how it's inspired them to do, food drives or to adopt a family for Christmas or to go out and buy gloves and hats for people or to just give in general. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm floored every single day that I open my email, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe the response that it's gotten. It's life-changing. It really is life-changing. And my first film.
Right. So now you're ready for the sequel?
Yeah. We've got. I've got plans to do a film in the spring. It's another short film, and it kind of has a positive message. It's more about this. Change for Dollars, about giving and about that it doesn't take a lot to make a big change in somebody's life. And whereas my new film is called Not So Pretty Things, and it deals with forgiveness and the healing that takes place with that, and how important it is to just let go and stop carrying all of that. And again, it's another very personal story to me. And so we're getting ready to get our Kickstarter plan in place and hopefully shoot that in the spring. We're going to go back to Kansas City or St. Louis and shoot that in the Midwest and bring probably our LA actors with us. And yeah, we're really, really excited because it's a very personal story. It's a very emotional story, and it's going to be shot very organically and beautifully, and I absolutely cannot wait to do it.
Back to the Change for a Dollar for a second. Our mom teaches high school, and she teaches a money manners class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on Friday she was going to show it to the class, but I know she's going to sometime soon.
That's awesome.
But she didn't download it illegally. That I know of.
Tell her to have each student do it individually so she can rack up some numbers.
She probably would.
Yes, give everybody a laptop and tell them to log in.
Well, they all have their own computers, so they should be able to log in and see it. There's not that many of them.
It's overwhelming. I literally, today alone, I think I've gotten 40 or 50 different messages about comments on Change for a Dollar, and just to see the response and to see that, that it has impacted people or moved them or touched them in some particular way, to open their eyes to be like, it doesn't take a lot to make somebody's life better. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not a political person. I'm not anything. But I do believe in, the power of the human spirit. I've been through a lot of adversity in my life, and I think that you have to have the mentality that you look at the positive things. And so that's kind of where the film stems from, is that, we can all do something. And it doesn't take a lot, and we're not going to change the system. We're not going to change, overnight our political system. We're not going to change, our financial system. But we can help each other, and that's ultimately what life is about helping each other and about, connecting to somebody in some way that, just because you've had a shitty day or bad day, just because you've had a bad day does not mean that you can't make somebody else's day. Why do you have to ruin somebody else's day?
Right.
So I think it's about the little things, and that's what's most important in life.
Well, it's being called the unofficial official holiday film, something like that.
It is, yes. We are We are the Christmas film of the year right now, I think. There's a website called Flickspire, and you can go online and see, like, I don't know, like 2,000 people have commented and shared it, and, you know, you can kind of track all these people and where it's coming from, you know, outside of YouTube. But just the comments are, it's amazing. It literally takes my breath away every time I log in and see the comments that people are posting, because I'm just amazed. You know, and it's so funny because yesterday I started getting bombarded with questions about why President Obama was going to Osawatomie, Kansas, which is such a nothing town. I mean, it's a great little town, but it was the perfect backdrop for Change for a Dollar, which deals exactly with what President Obama's message was, you know, is, and he's kind of playing off Teddy Roosevelt's message about, you know, how corporations don't need to be involved in it, you know, and it stems from the people, and it was kind of the birth of welfare. But, you know, my film kind of ties into that, and it was shot in Osawatomie, Kansas, and, you know, and his whole thing was, you know, change. And so people started bombarding me yesterday about, you know, hey, you know, does your film have anything to do with this? Are you politically tied? And no, I'm not, and the White House has not contacted me, but I take it as kind of a compliment that, you know, that people think that my film is tied to that.
You would allow them to, right?
Do what?
If they paid you the right amount of money, you'd allow them to use it, though, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, we well, and I'm speaking way ahead of where I'm supposed to probably, but we have a charitable foundation that's interested in purchasing the film for their personal use. So, they're meeting in a couple weeks, and I should probably know something before the end of the year, so we're very, very excited about that. And we'll see what happens, but I'd love to be able to say, you know, that I sold my first film.
You know, and the other thing is, now that it's an official or unofficial Christmas film, if it keeps popping up every year, just like Rudolph and all those other things, that can't be bad either. No, I'm not complaining at all. I think it's fantastic, and it's so funny because like one place in Russia picked it up, like one website, and literally we went from, you know, I get a few thousand hits of, you know, views a day, and literally it went to like tens of thousands of views a day, and it's so strange to see that like one place picks it up, and what a dramatic change it makes in, you know, your views and your comments and all of that, and we picked up, I don't know, 50,000 or 60,000 views from this one particular website that picks it up, and so, you know, it's so sporadic. You know, today alone, I think, you know, for a Sunday, it's really strange that, you know, I've had 6,000 views today so far. You know, I've gotten, I don't know, 20-some comments, and I don't know how many people have subscribed to it, but it's crazy. You know, just one thing can just completely spin it around, and you never know. You know, if we got one celebrity to post about it or retweet it or whatever, you know, it makes all the difference in the world. Right.
You got at least 2 or 3 views from our radio program, sure.
Oh, well, I hope so. That'd be great. Just Google Change for a Dollar. It should be the first or second one that pops up.
And you can also go to it from the Facebook page, too.
Yeah. Or if you're on G+, just go to the What's Hot list.
Do you tend to work a lot with the same people? I know you mentioned Paul Campbell, and you'd worked with him before, right, on 9.5 years or something?
Yeah, I love to work with the same people. I mean, it's great when you can build that chemistry with a certain crew or a certain director or whatever. It's phenomenal. Of course, now that I'm in LA, it's a little bit different. I have some films coming out that, you know, that I worked on while I was in Kansas City. 3 Blaine Saints is one that I play Barry Corbin's cohort in. It has Irma P. Hall and Richard Spade and Murray Gershwin. He's amazing, and it debuts the 15th, I think is when the premiere is, or 13th or something like that of December. I'm not going to actually be there for it, unfortunately. American Maniacs, which I know a lot of people probably know it as Fetch. Phase 4 distribution picked it up, and it goes on video. It'll be available for video on demand January 1st, and that was an amazing horror film. It's not for the squeamish, but I'm in that, and a lot of people in Kansas City know me from Time's Up Eve with Patrick Ray, who's an Emmy-winning director, and Candy Apple Red, which is Todd Norris, another Emmy-winning director. Just all phenomenal people that I've had the chance to work with. And since I've been in L.A., I've done mostly a lot of commercial work. You'll see me on, like, the U.S. Tax Shield commercials, and I've done a few other things that I'm not really supposed to mention at this particular point. But, yeah, I love when you can build that relationship and you know, and work with people consistently. And, you know, as a director, you know, as you're, you know, if you're a writer and a director, when you're writing something, you're already picturing who your characters are and who's going to play them, and so it's an amazing experience to be an actor and somebody's writing something and they're thinking of you, and you know, there's nothing better than that, than to be like, okay, you know, they trust me and they know that I'm going to do a good job and I'm going to play this character, and you know, it's a great experience.
You also did some TV. You're going to be in an episode of No Ordinary Family. Can you talk about that?
I did. Yeah, I did. It got canceled, unfortunately. I played
before it aired?
Yeah. No, it aired. It aired. Oh gosh, I don't remember when it aired now. But
for a year now, boy.
No, it hasn't been a year. I did it. It aired about
last season.
Yeah, it was last season. It aired probably 4 or 5 months ago, but I did get to play a detective on that show, and that was really fun. And Michael Chiklis let me put on his jean jacket that had the shield and all the years on it and everything, and then he took my phone and took a picture of me, and I thought it was so cool. And he was just the nicest guy in the entire world, and so that was a great experience, especially, you know, since I was fairly new to LA, and to get that break and be able to work with somebody, and he was so awesome, and I absolutely love him, and I wish him nothing but luck. But yeah, I was kind of sad to hear that they canceled the show.
Yeah. Is there something that you
never watched it?
Do I?
It was a pretty good show, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
Is there a particular kind of role that you would really like to try that you haven't gotten to do yet?
I think, you know, my favorite, I'm more of a drama actor than I am, say, comedy or whatever. I think, you know, my comedic timing is good enough, but I prefer roles that are very heavy and gritty with a lot of drama. I think, you know, my strengths lie in, you know, I can cry on demand, and I've got so much emotional baggage to pull from that's really where my strengths lie. And so, you know, it's funny because a lot of people are like, you know, what's one of your favorite movies or whatever, and there was a movie, The Stepmom with Julia Roberts, and I loved that movie and how, like, the emotional undertones of it and being able to portray that, and that's probably one of my favorite scenes if I ever have to do a monologue, which I'm not a believer in monologues, by the way. I think that that's ridiculous if you're going to audition for the part. I think that you should audition for the part, not for something that you've planned and prepared for and all of that has nothing to do with the person that you're portraying. That's just my personal rant. But I loved that character, and I think, you know, like something like Charlize Theron did Monster, and I like roles that, you know, it's not about being pretty, or it's not about being, I think it's about the depth of the character, and that's what really appeals to me. And so to be able to find those roles and to find those scripts that really inspire you to want to work harder, you know, something that is emotionally challenging, that's the part that I like.
They're about to cut us off, just in case we get disconnected, that's why. There's a time limit. 12 seconds.
Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really would